Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and I love to do all sorts of sewing and DIY projects, and this week is actually all about vegetables. So my obsession with vegetables started a couple of weeks ago when I saw this jumper here on Pinterest. And since then I've been seeing a lot of vegetable or fruit inspired clothing items, and they really stuck with me, and I decided I would like to sort of give it a try and make my own. And my main inspiration piece is actually this artwork that my mom gave me, I think a couple of years ago now. I just love it. I think it is absolutely stunning. Unfortunately, I do not know the artist and I can't really read the signature, but it is super, super pretty. And this piece basically served as my main inspiration for the clothing item that I want to make this week. I decided to basically make a vest simply because vests are super, super easy and I love wearing them, and I think you can add them to any outfit. And my idea is to have this nice vegetable applique on the back, and then the roots would come out and form the words root for one another, as in this art piece right here. And then I would also maybe like to add some veggies to the front part of the vest. And I will be making my vest out of this lovely sagey green bed sheet. This is from IKEA actually, and it is 100% cotton, but I got it for free from my local Buy Nothing group, and I will try to spend nothing on this project. So I'm going to use fabric scraps and upcycle some old clothing items. So for my vest pattern, I'm actually going to be using a vest that I made a couple of years ago, and I basically just traced it again and sort of copied the measurements. And as you can see, I did a visible bias binding all around the edges, and that way you just have the two layers of fabric, you sandwich them together, and then you connect it all with the bias binding, and it's super, super easy. And in this case, I also added some ties in the front. If you would like, you could also, of course, add a bust dart, but my vest is very structured because of all the layers of fabric, and I don't think it makes that much sense in this case. And drafting your own vest pattern is actually quite easy. So in my case, I just took a jacket where I like the fit of, and then I traced the back panel as well as the front panels, and sort of changed the neckline a little bit because I wanted to be a little bit lower and have this nice curved shape. And yeah, then I just added seam allowance to the shoulder seams as well as the side seams, and I also shortened it a little bit. And I did a mock-up a few years ago, and I know that I like the fit of everything. But if it's your first time making a vest pattern, I suggest that you do a mock-up before you start the real thing. Some of this pillowcase is a little bit stained, so I'm always trying to make sure to line up my pattern pieces in a way that I don't get any stained parts basically. And also trying to save as much fabric, because then I could make bias tape with the rest. And ideally you should iron your fabric before, but I never do that, honestly. So these are our three pattern pieces. You only need to connect them here at the side seams and then at the two shoulder seams basically. And now it's time to decide on my lining fabric, because yeah, as I said, this is quite thin and flimsy, and I need to pick some fabric that would give this a bit more structure. This is just an old pair of pants from my boyfriend, and they have a lot of holes, so he gave them to me to sort of make something out of this. And my idea was that I could maybe, if I have enough fabric, line the vest with some denim because it has a lot of structure, and if I make it reversible, then basically I have a nice clean denim jacket on one side, and then the other side would have this very fun applique. And yeah, I get 2-in-1 clothing items basically. Okay, I just unpicked the legs and basically ripped apart the whole pair of pants. I think actually the denim could work. I just really need to do some patchworking. So this is the back panel that I have here. I have it on the fold, and this is sort of one leg of the pair of pants. And I think if I cut this part, the top part basically separately, and then sew it together, and then basically create, I think it's called like a back yoke or something. I think this could work. But yeah, it's a struggle. So I have this pocket here, and I kind of have the crazy idea of not needing to seam rip because I'm basically using it on my pattern piece. I don't know if that would work, but honestly, let's try. Oh my god, I think I did it. It is a bit wonky, but I think it works, and I don't think you can tell that the pocket is a bit wonky. I actually really like this. I'm kind of proud that I was able to achieve this. So the front panels are kind of asymmetrical right now. As you can see, this side has nothing, and I think I kind of like that, honestly. And I think I can wait till later to see if I want to add a pocket here, but I think it has kind of a nice touch to only have one pocket, honestly. Now I just need to connect my patchwork pieces and hope that everything fits. Okay, I have attached my patchwork denim pieces. They look quite good, actually. I'm surprised. I now have my 3 pieces, and I basically, yeah, would just need to connect them on the shoulder seams here and then also the side seams. So this is already a vest, super easy, and yeah, now we can get to the applique part. So I'm currently in the process of sort of designing my appliques and how they should look like and what veggies I'm gonna put on there. I definitely want to do a beetroot. I just love them, and I found this gorgeous sort of, I think this is just embroidery on Pinterest here. I think this is with felt or something like that, and I just love the colors of beetroots. I love the leaves. I think, yeah, it's definitely a piece that I want to include, and also beetroots are just delicious. And then obviously I want to add some carrots. Since I don't have orange, I'm actually thinking of doing a yellow carrot, and I think they could look quite cute actually. But I also would like to do an onion, simply because onions are essential, and I kind of like the design here where you see all the different layers. And I am a very big Shrek fan, and how could I not have layers on my vest? I think that looks kind of cool, and it also adds more color, because then I could do a little red and then some sort of whitish pinkish accents here, and I think that could look cute as well. And then this jumper here is also one of my main inspiration pieces, and it has parsnip on here as well, which I think could look quite cute and add like another subtle color. I think my main veggies will be beetroot, carrot, some sort of parsnip, and then maybe an onion. So I've been tracing some of my designs. So here is the beetroot and the parsnip. And then I have my carrots. I might do 1 or 2, I'm not super sure. And then I also have my onion that I want to use. And I also started tracing the leaf shapes as well. So for the onion, it is quite easy. It's basically, looks like very thick grass. So I would just have long strips of fabric here, probably 3 or 4. And then for the beetroot, I have traced the leaf shapes here, and I will do the leaves obviously in green, but the stems I will do with like a burgundy color, either with embroidery thread or with fabric that I cut into very thin strips. And then for the carrot, I'm actually not super sure because the carrot has very, very thin, flimsy leaves, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do that in fabric. So instead I might actually just do that with some sort of thread and then sew the thread down. So I've just cut out my templates and I think I like the sizing. Honestly, I'm not sure if I need all of them. I might just do one carrot, honestly, and basically switch the parsnip with the other carrot so that they would overlap here. And yeah, overall I think that looks quite cute. I'm just doing my first patch now. I've done the carrot and I basically put some brown, I think it's cotton fabric as a base, and then put my applique piece on top, and then I basically just stitched around it with currently just a normal stitch, but I will also do a zigzag stitch later. And then for my beetroot I cut out a lot of scraps because I don't have any suitable color basically. So I also cut out some of the brown cotton as a base, and now I'm basically going to be stitching all over the base here to get some sort of stability for my fabric scraps here, and then I can later cut it out to be the shape that I need. I'll just continue with the other pieces as well. For the onion, for example, I will do several layers, so I will probably start with a darker layer and then add smaller layers on top in lighter colors to give that more dimension. And yeah, I will just see how it goes and what I like and add details if necessary. I'm just doing the leaves of my beetroot, and that is sort of the back side and then the front side. So I added some very dark red or like I guess burgundy colored embroidery thread, and I just cut some pieces to length and I'm placing them on my leaf, and then I'm stitching them down with a very small zigzag stitch. And then I do like these teeny tiny details where I stitch from the stem towards the outside, and I just do 2 per side basically. I think you can see it better maybe on the back side. And this is also done in the same small zigzag stitch. And yeah, my idea is sort of to have all these different leaves. I'm doing 4 for my beetroot, and they will then sort of be assembled like this, so that I have the embroidery thread as sort of the stems of the leaves. For the carrot as well as the parsnip, I will use a different shade of green, so I'm kind of collecting all of my green fabrics, and then I will also probably add some sort of embroidery thread detail. So it is the next day and I have decided on a layout. I will basically be alternating my shapes and decided to not overlap the carrot and the parsnip. And I really like that. I think it looks quite nice. And now I went ahead and sort of marked a line down here where I roughly want my pieces to end and the lettering to start. So it's about like the, yeah, I guess last 10 centimeters of my vest that I want to keep free. And I've also marked my middle point, so that is my middle, and that just helped me to pin down my pieces. And for the leaves, I would probably attach them with a dark green thread if I have any. And here I will try to do like a darker thread, maybe a brown or something like that, just so that I can also do the roots immediately, sort of have the roots go down as well. So all my leaves are on. I just need to trim some of the threads here, and I think that looks so good actually. I'm really happy with the different shades of green that I picked, and also like the shapes of the leaves. I think they look quite nice together, and I try to overlap them in some areas to give it a bit more dimension. Honestly, the most annoying bit was this one. Because yeah, this is all just embroidery thread that I stitched down. I first did like the big stems here and then like these smaller leaves, and I just kept doing zigzag stitches. And then I think I'm most proud of my beetroot. I just love the dark embroidery thread that I added in combination with this dark green. I think it looks absolutely amazing. And now I think I'm gonna start sketching my words. So down here I want to add all the letters, and I will also stitch that by machine, I think, not by hand. But yeah, I will start sketching. So I am done with the lettering, and I really like how that looks. I think it is so cool. And now I just need to construct the vest. So I'm gonna connect the side seams as well as the shoulder seams, and once I have my two layers together, I will pin them together and basically lay them flat and do a bias binding all around the edge. So it is much later now in the day. It's actually already the evening, and I've been very busy with sewing. So I've actually added pockets. I decided that I definitely need them in my day-to-day life. They would be quite practical, and I added another parsnip, as you can see, and the main parsnip is on the pocket, and then I tried to do the leaves and the stem only on the vest. But when you close the pocket or have it closed like so, it kind of looks like a continuous design. Kinda. At least I tried to match it up quite well. And then for the other side I did a different sort of vegetable. But I'm not going to show you right now. I'm actually going to wait to the reveal to show you the whole thing. And yeah, I think my next step will just be sewing on the bias tape. Honestly, it is a bit boring, so I'm gonna skip through that really fast. And thank you to everyone who likes, comments or subscribes. That means a lot, and it's always so much fun reading your comments and like your ideas or your general input. It means a lot to me, and yeah, thank you so much for being here. And now it's time to show you the reveal.